Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. There's a big claim out there that human beings have been eating meat, eggs, and dairy since the beginning of time. This is something usually proposed or pushed forward by those industries of said products and scientists that love meat and maybe some politicians. Today, I'm pointing out that we started out as vegan. However, I'm not trying to push like any kind of agenda or preaching to anyone. I'm just pointing out what we were and what we still are, really. I like my burgers, so I'm not quite quitting, all my meat. So I kind of go on knowing a little bit what I'm doing. So before humans learned to make tools, learning how to make fire and weapons, we were herbivores, mainly vegans, because we had no other way to eat meat. The Ice Ages had come along, forcing vegetation down into suffering. So the only way that we could survive was to have to adapt to eat meat or go extinct. And that's been going on for thousands of years because the Ice Ages were going on that long. So we never reverted back to going to vegan only afterwards. When the Ice Ages had died out, we kept our meat. However, all genuine carnivores and omnivores eat everything from animals. They eat all of it, the brain, the eyes, the skin, everything raw right off the bone. We as humans, we cook just about everything when it comes to meat. We cook nearly everything, and we leave out most of the organs. And it's very rare when we don't eat something cooked. It's probably because we don't have any fire going and we're forced to eat raw food. That's very rare. Animal flesh is hard on the body because it brings us high cholesterol, saturated fat, and clogged arteries. Also, lots of animal flesh from sick animals in particular have bacteria that can make us very sick. We will get like stomach cramps and diarrhea and organ failure, even death, possibly, unless we cook it. But even then, sometimes it's poisoned as well. Salmonella, mad cow disease are just some of the things that we get from eating meat. So now I'm going to point out some basic characteristics of our bodies that will help prove and point this out a little bit better. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll start off with, see, F5, please. Okay, start off with our teeth, the most obvious difference between herbivores and carnivores. We look at our teeth on the humans on the left and lions on the right. Humans on the left are also like chimpanzees, horses, cows, deer, etc. Whereas lions on the right are like dogs and cats and different fish and lizards and dinosaurs, things like that. So our teeth are basically like dull. There's nothing really sharp about them. Our molars are used for grinding, not crushing. Also, we can move our jaw or our lower jaw right and left, back and forth to help grind the food. Whereas the sharp teeth on the right for the carnivore they're basically very sharp and they're meant for tearing and ripping. And also in the back, you can't see them, but maybe the molars are very, very complex and very rigid and full of spikes in the molars. They're meant to tear and flesh from the bone and swallow, just straight down to swallow. And so that's an obvious difference to point that out. And next this is a chimpanzee, our closest relative, so scientists say. And scientists also any scientists out there want to say that we're omnivores or not herbivores, they need to just go back to what they call our closest relative here with chimpanzee. You can see that it's very that they're really meant to grind down vegetables like corn and apples and carrots and bananas, etc. Nothing sharp or dangerous about these teeth. And now there's another difference between herbivores and carnivores is claws. Herbivores have claws. I'm sorry, carnivores have claws, and herbivores mainly have like flattened nails, especially humans. They have flattened nails. And so the claws are meant to tear flesh off of animals, whereas our nails, human nails and animal nails, are like really meant just to hold on to things, not really tear into things. So that's another big difference in animals, in herbivores and carnivores. Now, this isn't scientific, a little bit more scientific through life, but we had learned to dissect animals and figure out what the difference is on the inside. The main difference is our digestive tract. The herbivore, which is including humans and apes, and like I said, deers and cows, the intestines are very long and they're more striated and meant to take a longer time to digest, to break down the fruits and vegetables. They take longer to digest than meat. The carnivore, it's much shorter and very, very quick and basic, because it's just meant to break down meat and to absorb the nutrition from the meat without having to break anything down over a long term. And so they usually don't get sick like we would when we eat meat, because the food passes through very quickly into their digestive tract. So if it's rotten flesh or poisoned or sick flesh, it doesn't really get absorbed by the body like it would in ours, because we take a long time to digest, to absorb all the ingredients in the meat. So this is the main difference between our digestive tract and carnivores. And so with that, that's the end of my slideshow. But mainly, we're basically convinced by science and our families. Let me stop sharing, please. Okay. And we are really meant to be eating vegetables. It's much better on our body, and we don't have to really follow the way of the scientists in our modern culture. We are basically fake omnivores, for those that call us omnivores. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Good night.
And thank you, fellow Toastmasters, and especially thank you, Rick, for your speech. I enjoyed it. I felt immediately an ease that I would say I've witnessed you giving other speeches, and I felt an ease with which you presented this topic, an enjoyment of this topic. I felt that you communicated that. And let me see what I have here. It's hard to see gestures here. I did feel you very engaged. You communicated that. Your vocal, I can't comment on vocal variety, but I felt through your voice that you were at ease, and that you were able to communicate your topic with a lot of fluidity in your voice. There was clarity in your what you had to express, the different points you presented. And I especially liked the PowerPoint, because that gave us illustrations that accompanied some of the important points that really needed illustration. So you kept the talk. I would say there was a completeness to the different points that you gave. At the same time, you kept the talk. You made it very concise and understandable. So it took me a while to figure out something I could give you as something to challenge yourself, something you may want to think about more. And just a moment, because I didn't write it down. Oh my goodness, it's left my mind for the moment.
Hmm.
It's left my mind. I'm sorry, I didn't write this down. Oh yes, I know. Yes, it was a matter of, I would have liked, you said that you were not vegan yourself. And I think you said something right after that. I may not have caught that clearly. At the same time, even if you were giving your own interest level in presenting this talk, because it did seem like you were presenting one side of a debate, I wanted to hear more why you felt that this was important, not just for yourself, but to give this information to others. You did mention it, yet with all, I would, there might be specific things for people to really take to mind for their health. You did give some of that, but to clarify that even further, I would have liked to have seen that. At the same time, it was an excellent speech. I felt like it was a clear way that you expressed yourself and developed the topic, and an ease of delivering it. Thank you.